Pitch bends with TriplePlay. When you play a note on your guitar, then bend one or more strings, the TriplePlay wireless and Connect MIDI guitar controllers track and transmit these string bends as standard MIDI pitch bend messages. TriplePlay can send pitch bend messages in a multitude of ways to accommodate the variety of virtual synths or hardware-based synths and how they interpret pitch bend messages, providing more natural results to your MIDI guitar performance. All of these settings are stored in each patch in the TriplePlay software or inside the TriplePlay controller as a hardware patch. All of the patches included in the TriplePlay software have the settings needed for pitch bend already programmed for each patch. The information provided in this video will help you understand the settings and why they're important, and how to program them yourself for use with your own synths and virtual instruments, taking full advantage of pitch bending in the TriplePlay software. There are three key settings to allow pitch bending with TriplePlay: the MIDI channel mode, the pitch bend range, and pitch bend modes. MIDI channel mode. Now let's start with MIDI channel mode and why it's critical for getting the right response from your synth. The MIDI specification defines pitch bend as a global parameter that is controlled with what is most often the pitch bend wheel on a keyboard controller. Pitch bends in this traditional manner will affect the pitch of all notes that are played simultaneously on the same MIDI channel. The guitar was created such that bending one note on a string doesn't bend the notes on the other string, so the traditional MIDI pitch bend method isn't ideal for the guitar. The TriplePlay controller solves this issue by sending the pitch bend data over two optional MIDI channel modes called poly mode and mono mode. Poly mode sends notes and pitch bends over a single MIDI channel 1, for all strings played, while mono mode sends notes and pitch bends over multiple MIDI channels, each string assigned to a different MIDI channel, MIDI channels 1 through 6. Poly mode pitch bends. Poly mode will send all detected MIDI notes and pitch bends over a single MIDI channel. To set poly mode, load a VST instrument into one of the split channels, double-click the plugin name on the colored split channel button below the channel fader, or on the plugin name below the patch name area on the left-hand side of the TriplePlay software. In the TriplePlay settings window attached to the plugin window, select poly mode in the upper left-hand corner. While in poly mode, the TriplePlay controller will only allow one note to bend at a time. When two or more notes are detected, bending is disabled and will move the detected notes to the nearest half step. This mode works well for people who are quickly trying to get notes into a DAW and are not looking to bend more than one string at a time. Poly mode is the default setting of the controller when not using the TriplePlay software or the TriplePlay controller in hardware mode. Mono mode pitch bends. On the guitar, you're most often only bending one string at a time while playing other strings that you don't bend. This is what mono mode is for. To put the controller into mono mode, double-click the plugin name on the colored split channel button or in the plugin name below the patch name area. In mono mode, each string is assigned a MIDI channel for channels 1 through 6, MIDI channel 1 being the high string, the other strings following in that order up to MIDI channel 6 being the low E string. You can think of it like having 6 different keyboard controllers, each string a different keyboard controller, pitch bend wheel, and notes. If you want a connected synth to work with TriplePlay while the controller is in mono mode, the connected synth needs to have the MIDI channel set to multi-channel MIDI, or if it's a multi-timbral synth, 6 sounds each with their own MIDI channel set as MIDI channels 1 through 6. Setting the MIDI channel in the connected synth to MIDI Omni or MIDI All will not work correctly with pitch bending while in mono mode, and is best utilized in poly mode with the pitch bend mode set to auto. We will go over pitch bend modes later in the video. Pitch bend range. Pitch bend range determines the number of semitones a virtual instrument or synth can bend the pitch of any note. it's important to make sure the pitch bend range of the virtual instruments or synths and the pitch bend range of the TriplePlay controller are identical. This is usually a global parameter in the settings of the synth. Both the TriplePlay controller and the virtual or hardware synth connected must be set to the same pitch bend range, or you will get unexpected results. In general, most synths have a preset range of plus or minus 2 semitones, which is 2 half steps or frets, but they can vary. Ideally, we recommend setting the pitch bend range of the virtual instrument or synth to plus or minus 12 semitones. This allows you to play a note and then slide up and down the neck of the guitar up to an octave without re-triggering a new note. While pitch bend range in most hardware synths and virtual instruments is configurable, in some cases there is no ability to adjust the pitch bend range. If the synth doesn't offer a pitch bend range setting, set the TriplePlay controller to plus or minus 2 semitones. Pitch bend modes. Now that the MIDI channel settings and the pitch bend ranges are configured properly for both the TriplePlay controller and the synth that you're playing, we can start experimenting with the various pitch bend modes that TriplePlay has to offer. Now there are 4 different modes to choose from: auto, trigger, smooth, and stepped. Note that these pitch bend modes will work in both poly and mono MIDI channel modes, but while in poly, only one note will bend at a time. Auto mode. When the pitch bend mode is set to auto, the TriplePlay controller determines whether you are deliberately bending a string, thus sending the pitch bend values, or whether you are gliding up or down the neck of the guitar with your hand. Because auto mode keeps the guitar in tune, vibrato techniques will not be as pronounced. Use this mode if you want to bend notes while staying more accurately in tune. Trigger mode. When the pitch bend mode is set to trigger, the TriplePlay controller keeps all notes in tune and will move the note to the nearest semitone while bending the string. So bending the strings will not bend the notes, but will instead re-trigger new notes at every semitone increment, whether you're bending the string or sliding up and down the neck of the guitar. Trigger is a great mode to use if you do not need to bend any string, or if the instrument being played is more realistic without bending notes, such as a harpsichord. Stepped mode. Stepped mode is very similar to trigger mode, except that stepped mode bends the notes to the nearest half step without re-triggering a new note. Bending the strings will not bend the notes, but will instead glide notes to the nearest semitone increment, whether you're bending the string or sliding up and down the neck of the guitar as well. Smooth mode. When the pitch bend mode is set to smooth, the controller follows the pitch bending and pitch fluctuation of all strings, including vibrato, and allows all bends to occur. Now, while this mode can produce the most natural playing results, it requires very good intonation and a well-tuned guitar. If you're a very accurate player, this mode may be the best setting for you. We encourage you to experiment with the various pitch bend modes. You'll find that some types of instruments or synth sounds may require a particular mode to sound more natural. Playing a violin sound may sound more natural using auto or smooth to capture the string bends in your performance. In summary, to get the best performance out of TriplePlay in your virtual or hardware synths, make sure to first adjust the MIDI channel settings correctly in both the synth and TriplePlay controller. Then set the pitch bend range for both the synth and controller to be the same. We recommend plus or minus 12 semitones. Finally, select a pitch bend mode that works best for the sound you're playing. All of these parameters can be saved in a hardware or software patch and recalled with the click of a button on the TriplePlay controller.